gonna do with all those tomatoes?
I don't know. I mean, usually frying them is always a good option, but
it would be delicious, but that sounds like a disaster for the kitchen.
And we do have a lot of them, so
yeah.
We could pickle them. I feel like that'd be the best option to
That'd be good.
Get rid of them.
You could put them on sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be really
having
good.
pickled anything in the house is never a bad idea. So. All right. Well, I guess I'll pickle them. What's up, chefs? Welcome back for another episode. Now, my roommate and I grew some tomatoes this summer, but they didn't all turn out exactly how we wanted to.
But we ended up with just a lot of green tomatoes.
And there's not too many things you can do with them. Famously, you can fry them, but the best way, if you have a lot, is to pickle them so they last for a really long time. I'm gonna show you 3 different ways to pickle your green tomatoes, so let's get started. I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 different styles of pickled green tomatoes. We're going to be making curry pickled green tomatoes, a lacto-fermented pickled green tomato, and the classic vinegar pickled green tomato. Now before we pickle anything, we're going to take some of our ripe tomatoes that we grew, just 1 or 2, and we're going to slice them up. Then take a spoonful or about a tablespoon of salt and mix that into your tomatoes. This is going to draw out the moisture and leave us with a more concentrated tomato flavor. You can leave them overnight or about an hour will do. Take your green tomatoes and give them a quick rinse, making sure you get all the dirt off. Then you can go ahead and separate the bigger tomatoes from the smaller ones. The big green tomatoes will have a different purpose than the little guys will. We have our tomatoes cleaned and separated. Now it's time to start cutting. Smaller green tomatoes are going to be quartered or halved, depending on the size, so we can use them for salads, maybe top a hot dog, throw them in a saute pan, or just pop them in your mouth like you would a pickled cucumber. Versus our larger green tomatoes that we're going to slice so we can have a more acidic, funkier tomato that will really take any sandwich to that awesome next level. Now let's get our pickling spice ready for our first round of pickled green tomatoes. Our pickling spice will consist of 6 cloves, 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of chili flakes, 1 teaspoon or 8 grams of allspice, 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of coriander, 2 tablespoons or 20 grams of mustard seed, 2 dried chilies, 2 bay leaves, and 1 cinnamon stick. Using a food-safe container that can hold at least 2 cups or 64 fluid ounces, drop in 3 cloves of garlic, 2 more whole dried chilies, 2 tablespoons of our pickling spice, 1 tablespoon of black peppercorns, about a half a cup of roughly chopped dill, and about 5 or 6 of our salted tomatoes. Then you will dissolve 2 tablespoons of kosher salt in 2 cups of room temperature water for our salt brine. As we fill our jar, let me explain why we're using a salt brine instead of vinegar for these tomatoes. We are naturally fermenting them using the salt brine. A salt brine brings out the tomato's lactic acid, which causes the tomatoes to ferment and pickle. A vinegar solution, on the other hand, that we'll use later, uses acetic acid. Basically, we're just using 2 different types of bacteria to pickle our tomatoes. Acidic pickles are more sour and sharp, and lacto pickles have a smooth, creamier tang to them. And now that our jar is filled, you want to give it a tap to get out some of those air pockets, cover the top with some plastic to keep them submerged, cover with a coffee filter or a clean rag, secure that with a rubber band. You're just going to leave those out at room temperature, and in about a week you'll have some delicious lacto-fermented green tomatoes. Now that our sliced tomatoes are fermenting, let's get our vinegar solution ready. You will need 5 tablespoons or 80 grams of sugar, 2 tablespoons or 35 grams of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of black peppercorns, 3 cloves of garlic, and 1 jalapeno. Dissolve your sugar and salt into 2 cups of water and 2 cups of vinegar of your choice. I am using white vinegar in this video. From there, all you have to do is add all your ingredients to your food-safe container. Oh, and I forgot to mention that for the jalapeno, you can deseed it if you would like less heat, but leave them in if you want a spicier tomato. I took out half for something in the middle. Now fill your jar about halfway with your tomatoes, then a quarter of an onion thinly sliced, followed by the rest of your tomatoes. Now top your jar with your vinegar solution, cover again with plastic wrap, and secure with the proper lid. For a quicker pickle, you could boil your vinegar solution and let it come down to room temperature before putting a lid on it, but if you don't, these tomatoes can go right into your refrigerator and can be enjoyed in a few hours. Our curried flavored green tomatoes will use the same vinegar solution that we just used. I'm just throwing in 1 more cinnamon stick, 2 more cloves, 2 more tablespoons of hot curry powder, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of our pickling spice, and a teaspoon of cardamom powder. And I'm just using all the remaining green tomatoes that we have for these curried flavored pickled green tomatoes. And there you have it. There are a few different ways to pickle your leftover green tomatoes. Pickled vegetables have a multitude of uses and last for a really long time. And don't forget to put those lacto-fermented tomatoes in the fridge after about a week. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more great videos, hit that like button if you got some good value out of this video, and tune in to Chef Life Live every Monday for a deeper look and understanding of chef life. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time, chefs.